Okay, yeah, so today we're talking about the death of the Chief of Army Staff, General Ibrahim Attahiru. What's your view as regards this death? Like, what happened? The plane crash and everything.
Yes, by uh, Christian point of view, it is appointed to man once to die. That should once again remind us that we are just mortal men and we should do whatever within our power to make sure we make our world a better place. So for you bragging over things you are not in control of does not suggest the person is expressing wisdom. So I overheard him saying that, okay, over his dead body will Biafra come. Maybe probably that is just a fulfillment to what is needed for the actualization of Biafra. But I don't mean I'm happy that somebody died, but of course, people have been dying. It had been a recurrent decimal. It had been, if I say it's a daily ritual in Nigeria for, you hardly could see on daily basis in our daily medias and newspapers, you must see the incidents. It's a daily occurrence. In fact, that is the greatest news you should anticipate within the contraction called Nigeria. That could it mean that, the gods are not happy with us? What could have led to these incessant killings, shedding of blood across the Nigerian state? It's not a good omen, and I think it's high time we sit down and retrace our paths. How do we get to this point? From the information available to the public, I learned that the aircraft has some technical issues. Maybe they are trying to manage it. It's as the Nigerian mentality. Let's just manage it. And eventually, it went out of control. So you don't learn to manage things, especially when it has to do with life, when it poses a threat to the life of your subjects or even your life, because the way your response to people's issue could be the way you respond to your issues. So if they have dictated before now, before their flight, that this has a technical issue and could not fix it before taking off, it's just a suicide. They're just heading for what, of course, is not a surprise that they ended up that way. So that should serve a clear warning and a lesson to the Nigerian state. Learn to fix things, learn to get things right. Build a formidable system that will address the plight of the people. You see, don't think because you are privileged to be within the corridor of power and you think that you are just a monster, you're just a lord, a demigod. No, things are not done that way. Probably the technical or engineering department must have given him signal and you want to turn it down, and that is what, of course, resulted to this national disaster. That is my take on that.
Oh, well, Mr. Chikose, will you describe his death as shocking and suspicious?
Well, for me, it is not shocking. Why? Because it is certain that Nigerian state is not working. And of course, I think before he was enrolled in Nigerian force, he must have signed some documents that suggest eventualities could also happen. You see, accidents could happen. So these are parts of the accident. It's not a surprise to me that it's not the first time we are having that. The plane, military aircraft crashing within the Nigerian territory. It's very unfortunate.
Is it then suspicious?
Suspicious in what sense? For me, people might be speculating, but I don't think we need that now. The man is dead and is gone. So what we should do is to learn a lesson from the past. It's already past. So our challenge now is the present. What do we do with the opportunity we have? To get things right, done. Probably money must have been, set aside for the maintenance of those aircraft. And it ended up in the coffers of few officers. You see? We don't have, as Nigerians, we don't have maintenance culture. Virtually in everything. Look at our health system. Look at the infrastructures, the road. There are no maintenance culture. So it is not a surprise because it's just an accident buying time to happen. For me, it had never occurred to me. I never considered it as a surprise. Why? Because most of the facilities or systems in Nigeria, they are almost outdated and they are still managing it. If money is being voted for the replacement or total overhauling of such facilities, you see the money being diverted in the coffers of few greedy political or their associates. So that does not augur well with the system. And in as much as this continues, in as much as we don't bring such corporates to book, of course people will also do the same and get away with such a level of crime and embezzlement. So it's never a surprise to me.
Okay, I'm asking this because only recently we just heard the news of the death of Abubakar Shekau, and then next we had the death of Chief of Army of Staff. So that's why I'm asking if it is suspicious.
Oh, well, I think probably that will be judgment. That's why I said probably the gods may not be happy with the system called Nigeria. You see, the system that allows incessant loss of life on daily basis without caution. I think probably God is not happy because being the henchman of the armed forces, there are decisions you have to take. When you refuse to take it, it will lead to so many loss of lives. You have to be prudent. You have to discharge your duty without fear or favor. You should be able to tell when they ask you shoot at sight. You should be able to advise your principal on what basis, or prefer a better way of resolving the conflict. You see, many people, innocent people, have lost their lives. And what happens to those innocent people? Who speaks for them? Nobody to plead their cause. So for me, that is just, doesn't make any sense to me. It's gone, and what you are expecting, of course, probably the next person to take or to step into his shoe will be announced, and that is another opportunity for another man to be promoted.
Okay, so then can we call it ironic that we have 3 commanders died in the second quarter of this year? First we have the ESN commander, then we have the Boko Haram commander, and now the Nigerian Army commander. Is it ironic? What do you think?
Well, for the ESN, it is not the ESN commander, rather a unit commander
Okay.
of the ESN. By a unit commander could be within a locality. So it's not the commander of ESN as far as I'm concerned, the information available to me. And the Boko Haram has not been, the veracity of such assertion has not been proven. It just remains mere speculation. You know, anything can happen in Nigeria. You see? I'm still doubtful even at this point if really the chief of army staff was the one involved in such accident. Or could it mean that they are trying to cover up some money that have been embezzled? Maybe sending him to Mecca, or is in Dubai enjoying himself, and they just want to cook up some stories in order to confuse the country. What few weeks ahead of us, we unveil so many secrets. I hope they will not come to tell us that the 2.6 billion that was voted for the military in 2020, just maybe snake have swallowed it. They probably could not cover it up at this time, and the resort to those stories. For me, it's still a story. I still don't believe Nigerian stories. Everything is possible in Nigeria. Is this same country where you saw serpents, snakes swallowing up millions, and nothing happened? So everything is possible anyway.
So I guess there are a lot of could it be's, because I can also say could it be that the late chief of army staff could have masterminded the death of Shekahu? Then this possibly could be an act of revenge. Could it also be?
Well, I think they've not confirmed what led to that incident. So we are yet to hear from the army decks. So they will have to conduct, if probably they should, then let's hear what their own part of the story will tell. But I don't think Boko Haram has issue on this, has any hand on what's happened.
Okay. Do you think the death of the chief of army staff, Ibrahim Attahiru, will pose a serious setback to the fight against terror in Nigeria?
That is the fundamental question. And the fight against insurgency had his presence been fed? The answer is no. So invariably his absence meant nothing. And the Nigerian military has never won, never shown any sign of winning this battle against insurgency. They have been rather on the losing side. They have been losing their combatant men to banditry, to Boko Haram militias. They have been losing, our common words. You can see of recent the amounts voted for the fight against insurgency in the year 2020 was to the tune of $2.6 billion. You can now ask, why are we not winning this war if we have to vote such amount of money? $2.6 billion is not a chicken change, and yet we don't see any corresponding effects or positive effects in that regard. You see Boko Haram overrunning more states, more local governments within the northern region, expanding their tentacles. Could it mean that the armies are throwing party with those money? You still hear the combatant officers calling for help, that they are helpless, they have no armory, they have no modern facility, armory to combat They are never a match with the Boko Haram. You see, there is a conspiracy somewhere, and from my own understanding, Nigeria is on the losing side, economic-wise and military-wise. Because most of those regions, the economic activity has been disrupted. The communal life of the people has almost been abolished. People now scoring for safety in IDPs. Even the IDPs are not safe. You can hear occasionally the Boko Haram will want to attack those in IDPs. So it's eventually Nigeria is losing in every consideration. They are the ones at the losing side.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chigozie. We join all the Nigerians and the Nigerian Army to mourn the death of the Chief of Army Staff. May he so rest in peace. Amen.